Hello darling, I'm Alexandra, and today we're talking about Brunch Made Easier. It's that time of year. The holidays are coming and brunches are happening. And it's mop season, so of course, brunches happen at mops. And there's always baby showers. And you need to bring something for brunch. And panic starts to set in a little bit. So today we're going to talk about some tips about how to make brunch easier, to bring the best thing that you can bring. The first tip is know your limitations, whether they're time, money, or cooking skills. For me, time tends to be my limitation. I have 4 kids, and trying to get somewhere in the morning and make something elaborate doesn't really work for me. So I tend to make things that I can make ahead of time, either the night before, and I'm able to put it in the oven the morning of while I'm getting ready, it's cooking, or completely make it the night before, like baking something. So what if budget is your limit? For me, I've had times in my life where I can't bring the whole honey-baked ham. It's just not in the budget. Consider signing up for something ahead of time and look for things that are budget friendly. I would stay away from meats and fruits. Those tend to be a little bit more expensive. Things like eggs and baked goods are things you can make more on the cheap. And you can make wonderful things. A simple egg casserole can be made for under $5. And baking something like a coffee cake or muffins can be even cheaper. Your limitation might be cooking skills. You might not feel like Rachel Ray all of the time, and it intimidates you to bring something to a brunch that people are going to see and taste. But don't worry, you can make something pre-made look and taste homemade. How do you do that? Well, presentation is a big part of it. Say you buy a pre-made quiche. If you cut it up into small pieces and add toothpicks that are cute, or add some fruit around the plate, or even moving it from the tin foil pan that it comes in to a pretty round plate will make it look more beautiful and appetizing. So the second tip that's going to make brunch easier for you is to know your eaters. Who are you cooking for? First, how many people do you need to bring food for? Are you in charge of the main dish for 12 people, or do you just need to bring something small for 5 people? That's going to help you with proportions, and it will also help you with your limitations. If you only need to make something for 5, you can include ingredients that are a little more expensive. Are there special dietary restrictions? Ask that ahead of time. Do people have allergies? Do they need to have a gluten-free recipe? Is there someone who's a vegetarian in the group and you want to accommodate them? Keep those things in mind when you're choosing what you make. And finally, we're moms, right? So we go to events where there are grown-up food and kid food. Do you need to be making something that is kid-friendly, or can you incorporate some more elaborate ingredients because adults will be eating it? A few final tips on making brunch easier. Know where you're going. Is there going to be a place for you to assemble things if they need to be assembled? Is there a spot to keep food warm or cold if it needs to be a certain temperature when you get there for a while before you actually eat? And how are you going to transport the food if it needs to stay warm or cold? Think about how far you're traveling and what you need to keep it at the temperature it needs to be. And finally, presentation. Make sure you put food on a pretty plate. Cut it up in cute little pieces. Don't be afraid to get out some berries and slice them up, or some parsley from your fridge and add it to the plate as garnish. It will give that extra little pizzazz to make brunch special. And it doesn't have to be difficult. I hope these tips help you make brunch easier. And look for our other video that has a couple of my favorite brunch standby recipes that work within our limitations.